Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel. For centuries we have been told that Lucifer was the first to fall, the first to turn against God, the first to be cast down. His name became a warning, his fate a lesson in the consequences of rebellion. But what if this was a deception? What if, before the morning star fell, something far more terrible had already happened? Before we begin, if you're fascinated by the mysteries of the unseen, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this journey with others who crave knowledge beyond the ordinary. Together, let's uncover what lies hidden in the shadows. Now, let's begin. What if I told you that Lucifer wasn't the first to fall, but merely a distraction from something far more terrifying? What if I told you that there was a force so dangerous it was erased from existence itself, and yet traces of it still remain? That something was removed from creation entirely and it might just be returning to rewrite reality itself? Some things are not merely punished, they are erased. Not cast into darkness, not bound in chains, but removed from existence itself. No name, no trace, no memory. But absence is never perfect. Even the deepest void leaves behind a scar. Scattered throughout ancient texts, hidden in cryptic verses, there are whispers of something that should not be. A force that was not of heaven, nor of hell, nor of earth. Something so dangerous that it could not be exiled. It had to be unmade. Lucifer's name was cursed, so that all would remember his fall. But this name was never meant to be spoken again, yet still it lingers. In the beginning, before rebellion had a name, before the war in heaven shattered the harmony of creation, there was only order. Every being moved within the will of its creator, every force bound to divine purpose. The light was pure, unchallenged, unquestioned. There was no conflict, no defiance, only perfection. But within this perfection something stirred, not with pride, not with malice, but with curiosity. Among the celestial host, there was one unlike the others. No scriptures recall its name. No records speak of its presence, yet shadows of its existence remain in the deepest echoes of forgotten texts. It was not the greatest of angels, nor the most radiant, but it was different. Where others saw divine law as unshakable truth, it saw limitations. And where others saw only light, it wondered if something else could exist beyond it. It was not rebellion, not yet. It was not an open challenge to God's authority. It was simply a question. Could creation be altered? Could something be made outside the will of its creator? No angel had ever dared to ask. To question was to suggest imperfection. And yet, within the stillness of eternity, that thought took form. Creation had been perfect. Every being, every force, every breath of existence moved within the will of its creator. Nothing could exist outside his design. Until now. The first sin was not pride. It was not rebellion. It was something far worse. Maybe a sin that cannot be forgiven? Among the celestial host, one had not sought to rule, nor to rise above God, nor to claim dominion over heaven. It had not wished to be worshipped. It had wished to create. But creation was the domain of God alone. No angel had ever dared to think otherwise, for no angel had the power to shape existence. Yet this one did not ask. It did not seek permission. It simply acted. Hidden from the eyes of the divine host, unseen by any who dwelled in the light, something was made outside the will of its creator. But what was shaped in secrecy did not bear the mark of divine breath. It was not living. It was not dead. It had form but no soul, movement but no purpose. It was wrong. The one who had made it did not understand what had gone wrong. It had sought to forge something new, something that had never existed before. But what had been created was incomplete, a hollow thing, a mockery of life, something that neither heaven nor the abyss could claim. There was no great battle, no rebellion to be crushed, no sentence of exile. There was only silence. Lucifer had been cast down, but even in his fall, he had been given a place. He was bound to the earth, allowed to walk among men, to whisper in the shadows, to rule over those who chose to follow him. His punishment was great, but his existence was never erased. But for this one, there would be no such fate. It was not sent to the abyss, nor allowed to walk upon the earth. It was not condemned to rule over the damned, nor bound in chains like those who had fallen before. It was given no dominion, no suffering, no torment, because it was given nothing. It did not belong to the light, nor to the darkness. It did not belong to heaven, nor to hell. It did not belong anywhere at all, and so it was removed. Not banished, not exiled, erased. No one would remember it. No voice would speak of it. Its name was not cursed, for even a curse acknowledges that something exists. It was stripped from the fabric of creation itself, cast into a place that was not a place, a void that was not emptiness, a silence deeper than oblivion. Maybe this is a fate worse than hell itself. It was meant to be forgotten. Every memory of its existence had been wiped away, its name erased from the records of time. No angel spoke of it, no demon whispered of it. It had been cast into oblivion, so absolute that even the abyss held no knowledge of it. And yet, despite the decree of its erasure, something remained. Not a name, not a story, but traces, faint, scattered, almost imperceptible, a presence that should not exist, an absence that was too unnatural to be ignored. The warning appears in ancient writings, texts outside the accepted scriptures, words scrawled in forgotten languages and hidden in the margins of lost books. It is never named, never described, only feared. Something not bound to light or shadow, not part of heaven or hell, a thing that was not supposed to be, and yet, somehow, it was. It was never meant to return. It was not imprisoned, not sealed away like the fallen. It was erased. It was unmade. And yet, in the corners of forgotten knowledge, in the whispers of those who seek forbidden truths, there are rumors, not of a being that has returned, but of pieces, fragments, of something that was never supposed to exist. There are those who search for what should not be found, scholars of the lost, keepers of forbidden texts, seekers of power who believe the act of erasure was never complete. The echoes that remain, the gaps in reality that still bear its scars, they believe these are pieces waiting to be reassembled. And then something happened. Deep in the mountains, in a monastery untouched by time, an entire order of monks vanished. The stone walls of their sanctuary collapsed into ash, but there was no sign of fire, no embers, no heat. The air remained cold, the ground untouched. Only silence remained. At the center of the ruins, a message was found, carved into the last standing pillar. It is awakening. Once, it was erased completely. Once, its name was wiped from all things. But the fact that its echo still exists, the fact that something remains, does this mean it was never truly gone? If it was unmade, yet something still lingers, then perhaps nothing can ever truly be erased. Perhaps it is not waiting to return. Perhaps it is already returning. Perhaps every crack in creation, every anomaly, every inexplicable shift in time and space is not merely coincidence, but a wound reopening. The scholars who had studied the Book of the Nameless One began to disappear. Their research, their notes, their very names vanished. And in the silence of an empty study, in a room that no longer remembered its owner, a single whisper echoed, "You cannot erase me twice." Thank you for watching and diving into this mysterious journey with us. If you found this story intriguing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others. Stay tuned. More secrets await.